flopped around like a fish. She spun around on the dance floor like Curly from the Three Stooges or Homer Simpson from The Simpsons. She moved her arms like a windmill, touched her nose while lying on her side, and hopped like a kangaroo.
So yesterday we talked about the Olympic breakdancing coming from Australia. One B-girl Raygun hopping around like a kangaroo. So someone thought it was such a disturbing phenomenon that they should psychoanalyze her. So we're going to listen to somebody actually breaking down the issue with the Australian breakdancer, Dr. Todd Grande.
Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of the case, including the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. Rachel Louise Gunn was born on September 2, 1987, in Hornsby, New South Wales, Australia. This is about 50 minutes northwest of Sydney. When she was young, Rachel became interested in various types of dancing, including tap, ballet, salsa, and ballroom. In 2009, she earned a
Okay, that answers one of my questions. I was wondering if she had a background in other types of dance, like maybe a modern dance or something. So yeah, Dr. Grande seems to confirm that.
bachelor's degree in contemporary music from Macquarie University in Sydney. In 2017, she graduated from the same university with a PhD in cultural studies. Her 355-page thesis was titled Deterritorializing Gender in Sydney's Breakdancing Scene, a B-Girl's Experience of B-Boying. In breakdancing, or breaking as it's called, female participants are referred to as B-Girls and male participants are referred to as B-Boys. In the paper, Rachel explored how masculine practices...
It's so funny to hear him talking like this, like so seriously about this topic because of the goofy nature of this person.
...in breakdancing can create opportunities for the transgression of gender norms. Rachel was introduced to breakdancing in 2008 when she attended a training session for her boyfriend's breaking crew. His name is Sam Free. Later, the couple married. Rachel took an interest in breakdancing and started learning steps. She danced under the name Raygun. Rachel wondered why there were only a few women involved in the activity of breaking, which became the basis for her thesis. She paused her breakdancing activity for a while in order to finish her PhD. I read a few dozen pages of her paper, including the ending, and I was not convinced that Rachel came to a clear conclusion, which unfortunately is somewhat common with qualitative papers.
Hey man, I would not waste my time reading that paper. I'm telling you right now, this chick was playing in everyone's face. The fact that she got a degree in breakdancing, it's questionable to me now. Like, you know, why would she, if she was really truly about that culture and, you know, she's talking about how gender comes into play in breakdancing, you know, is she really serious about this topic? Does she really care about this topic? Does she really care about the participants in this field? Obviously, to go out there and do what she did, especially, you know, her husband is involved as well. Like, I think we have to understand motivation to get to why she did what she did.
Sometimes a paper can be written so abstractly, it loses meaning. Long story short, through her journey into breaking, she discovered a connection between the dancing style and gender roles. I don't know what this paper actually achieved other than giving me a headache, but at least it did a thorough job with that part. Rachel worked for the college from which she graduated for a few years and eventually became a lecturer. She also resumed participating in breakdancing activities and started competing again in 2018. By 2020, Rachel had become a top-ranked B-girl in the Australian Breaking Association. In 2021...
Find that hard to believe. Top-ranked B-girl. After that display, I don't know, man. Maybe she just couldn't do it anymore. Because we got to be honest about the shelf life of breakdancing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get out there and do what I used to do in the 1990s today. You know what I mean? Like,
she competed in the World Breaking Championships in France. In 2022, she competed in South Korea. And in October 2023, she qualified for the 2024 Olympics at the Oceania Breaking Championships in Australia. Referencing this amazing accomplishment, Rachel said, "Qualified for the 2023
again.
In 2022."
I want to see how she really gets down.
And in October 2023, she qualified for the 2024 Olympics at the Oceania Breaking Championships.
She's kind of still doing the same
referencing this amazing accomplishment. Rachel said, quote, "I think a lot of people have doubted my ability to do it and maybe thought I was getting too old to be able to stay on top, but I just kept pushing hard. I want to get better, and I want the scene to..."
Okay, so now we're getting to something. Maybe she did feel like she had aged out. She's born in 1987. What does that make her? Raygun is 36 years old. So 36-year-old woman up there is probably on her last hurrah of breakdancing. Honestly, it's a young person's pursuit, let's just say. But then why take that spot from somebody who was ready to be there?
Grow and get better, unquote. On Friday, August 9, 2024, Rachel competed in the Olympics in Paris. She performed 3 routines in the round-robin stage and was soundly defeated each time. Rachel didn't actually score a single point in any of the 3 rounds. The aggregate score was 54-0. Her performance was so badly received, a score of 0 seems generous. Maybe it was time to...
And one of my comments that got cut out of the last video is this pose right here looks like she fell from 10 stories, and that's how she landed.
Maybe it was time to break out the negative numbers. In response to her dismal performance, Rachel said, quote, "I was never going to beat these girls on what they do best. I was never going to beat these girls on what they do best, the dynamic and the power moves.
Okay.
So I wanted to move differently, be artistic and creative, because how many chances do you get in a lifetime to do that on an international stage? I was always the underdog and wanted to make my mark in a different way," unquote. When talking about what inspired her performance, Rachel said, quote, "All my moves are original. Creativity is really important to me. I go out there and show my artistry. Sometimes it speaks to the judges, and sometimes it doesn't. I do my thing, and it represents art. That is what it is about," unquote. Not everybody was as generous to Rachel as she was to herself. She received intense criticism, and her performance became widely mocked on social media. Here are a few of the ways that her dancing routines were described. Not serious, childlike, and demonstrating 0 talent for dancing. Rachel flopped.
Damn. So listening to that puts to bed a lot of the comments that people were having where they were like, "Oh, she was just joking. She was taking the piss like Australians do. You know, she was trying to pull one over." No, she was saying she had original moves, which they were. They were originally bad. But the fact that people were saying that she was just kidding, look, is a lie.
Flopped around like a fish. She spun around on the dance floor like Curly from the Three Stooges or Homer Simpson from The Simpsons. She moved her arms like a windmill, touched her nose while lying on her side, and hopped like a kangaroo. To be fair, I doubt that any self-respecting kangaroo would behave in that manner. They make hopping look respectable. Some people literally believe that Rachel had deliberately put on a terrible performance, like she was making fun of the Olympics or of the sport of breaking. She was a secret agent sent in from the anti-breaking forces to undermine the legitimacy of the sport. They just could not believe that anyone could be that bad at breakdancing and perform at the Olympics. Another theory was that Rachel was performing some type of comedy routine, like humor was part of her artistic breakdancing expression.
Nope.
Not everybody thought that Rachel's performance was comical or disgraceful. Some people defended her, including 2-time Olympic cycling gold medalist Anna Mears.
Oh, yeah, we heard her comments. Man, the stuff that she was saying was just ridiculous. Like, just stop. Stop. There's no need. Rachel does not need to be defended. She knew exactly what she was getting into. And if she's a real B-girl and she knows the competitive nature of hip-hop and breakdancing, that's the last thing you want is somebody making excuses for you.
Who had been placed in charge of the Australian team in Paris. Anna responded to the criticism by saying, quote, "I think that what has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing," unquote. Referring to Rachel, Anna also stated, quote, "I absolutely love her courage. I love her character, and I feel very disappointed for her that she has to come under the attack that she has," unquote. On Instagram, Rachel Gunn posted an image of herself with the caption, quote, "Don't be afraid to be different. Go out there and represent yourself. You never know where that's going to take you," unquote. Perhaps never knowing where behavior is going to take you is exactly the problem in this situation. She may have scored well on originality, but I cannot imagine she did well anywhere else. Item number 3. As I mentioned, Rachel had a number of curious and bizarre elements in her breakdancing routine. There is certainly an artistic component to the sport, as I mentioned, so of course there will be variation. But Rachel's performance was beyond simply being a little different. It was nothing like any of the other performances, and not in a good way. One might think that Rachel never actually observed any of her competitors breakdancing before her routine. This is surprising considering She wrote a thesis about breakdancing. Clearly,
Right.
she is connected to that world.
But she also made a thesis that was anti the status quo in breakdancing. So for her to be an observer, she probably came in with an agenda before she even started breakdancing. You know what I'm saying? She was in there to criticize, and that's where her motivation for those papers came from.
She must have watched thousands of breakdancing routines over the years. Perhaps this is an example of a person understanding an activity intellectually, but not being able to convert that into her own physical movement. It's also possible that Rachel believed there was a lot of room for artistic expression. Her performance may have been different, but it was still within the bounds of what people expected. For example, maybe that's what she was thinking with the kangaroo hopping routine. She was taking something that Australia is known for and incorporating that into the dance. I don't think there's anything
Roo hopping? I don't know about roo hopping.
wrong with that idea, but the dance move was not appealing. It was actually quite distracting and a little disturbing. The routine looked like a kangaroo had just been shot and was experiencing a horrible death, writhing in agony on the ground.
Oh, maybe that was her storytelling element. You know, they always talking about telling a story with the dance. Yeah, maybe that's what happened. She was recreating like a Bambi scenario, and the kangaroo got shot. And yeah, nah, not at all. I'm all for the art, but that's terrible.
If Rachel was trying to give PTSD to kangaroos watching the Olympics, then she succeeded. The reality of Rachel's performance is that it crossed the bounds of what can be explained through artistic freedom. Her artistic license needs to be revoked. Rachel wanted to have an impact on the sport of breakdancing. Well, there is no question that she accomplished that goal. Item number 4, what about the argument that Rachel's performance was not that bad? She has no shortage of supporters, but do they have a point?
No,
There's nothing wrong with defending Rachel. After all, she went to the Olympics and gave it a shot.
No.
Apparently, she was the best female breakdancer in Australia.
no.
Out of roughly 2 million women between the ages of 16 and 29 who lived there. If one were to count up to age 36, Rachel's age, then there would be even more. There's no doubt that Rachel has an intense interest in and love for breakdancing. After all, she wrote a 355-page paper about the sport.
Now, I don't know if that's love necessarily.
Feels a little disingenuous, however, to argue that her critics are somehow internet trolls or in any way mean-spirited.
Right.
People know what they saw on the dance floor, and it wasn't pretty. There's no sense in pretending it was. Now moving to my final item, number 5. Given that breakdance
I like this guy. He's just very straight to the point, you know. He's got his argument and he's going to state it.
may never come back to the Olympics, what will Rachel Gunn's legacy be as it relates to the sport? I believe her performance will encourage people to try breakdancing. People all over the world were watching her and thinking to themselves, I could do better than that. Maybe I should give it a try. Her performance operates on another level as well, one that is a little more abstract and not as favorable for breaking. By giving a performance that she thought,
Yeah, but there's a definite modern dance genre where you can do things like that, where you can express yourself in an abstract way. You know, like it's left up to interpretation. I don't know. When you start going into the realm of dance becoming sport, then that starts to be a question. I think that is the deeper conversation here. Is breakdancing inherently a sport that should be in the Olympics? Apparently, the Olympic board has decided for the next 2 Olympics, at least, it's not. But there have been breakdancing competitions for years. You know, Red Bull holds one. You know, of course, from the beginning, there's always been competition. My crew versus your crew. A1 versus A1 B-boy. You know, like that, or B-girl. That is the nature of it. The nature is competitive. But I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I'm sure they're just going to keep going as it is. And, you know, the popularity of it in the Asian countries has been pushing it through the past decade, I would say. So, you know, that is a large driver, a large population that respects this type of art form. So there's a future for it for sure.
was acceptable, while not realizing it was actually terrifying, Rachel perfectly encapsulated the ridiculousness of having breakdancing in the Olympics. When an athlete competing in the
But did she, though? Did she really? I don't think she did.
pole vault fails to get over the crossbar, they realize that they failed. When a middle distance runner finishes last in a 1,500-meter event, they realize they have not achieved something special. However, when a breakdancer makes the world laugh hysterically, she apparently believed that she did okay. Maybe the criteria for adding a sport to the Olympics should include a clear understanding of what constitutes a good performance. I will give credit to Rachel in this regard. If somehow breakdancing does come back to the Olympics, there is no doubt in my mind that everyone will eagerly await her next performance.
Yeah, so what do you think? You think the good doctor, has come to a good conclusion? I think she does need some more analysis. So yeah, very qualified person. Go check out his channel and give him a view. But what did y'all think about that? The case analysis of Raygun, B-Girl Raygun. I don't know. I don't think she was making that much of a commentary. If it wasn't a very effective commentary on whether or not this should be an Olympic sport. It's already competitive. People have been competing at it for years, from the beginning, let's just say. So I think it had a place there. I think it made sense. Everybody else got the assignment. But for some reason, she wanted to make another thing. I guess so she can eventually write a paper on this and then tour on how I punked the Australia Olympic Commission, because that's what she did. They should have never let her through to get to Paris. But they were like, oh, no, she's the best. She is the best. Maybe the selection criteria needs to change, and that's the issue here. But anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. You like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to watch more, please watch one of these videos down below. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. The link is in the description. This is Faucette Media.